want to just like rush through it and then be in the same boat in 6 months from now.
Sure.
So how many committee members are you suggesting?
I'm saying that there would be 5 groups but 6 committee members because there would be a council rep, so.
Okay.
Why don't
If
you
you're gonna
do-
do 6, you might as well do 7. Right?
Yeah, you
True.
could go 7 or 5.
Yeah.
And problem I have, is the role of this committee to make everybody happy? Or is the role of this is to make sure we move the money and get it working in our community? Because I think.
I don't
when
think-
you- when
I think
you
the
put-
answer is yes and
I don't-
yes.
I don't want another KRC committee.
Yeah.
Trying to hand out money and run things.
I think-
If in fact, maybe what you need is good neutral people that don't represent any group as much as they are willing to sit down and represent the community as fairly as they can when applications come forward and make a decision. And it's a group of reasonable size that they will have regular monthly meetings.
I think that part of the problem with that is that like the people in these groups, like it's easy to pull them in and to get them to buy in. And I think sometimes if you just do like, if I said 5 random citizens at large, it can be really hard to pull those people in because they don't necessarily buy into what we're doing. So I think sometimes you do need to structure your group around what you're doing, and these people, like it's been said, I mean, they're very invested in the community and moving the community forward. And you have groups like Rotary and Kinsman that do the more recreation, sunshine and lollipops type thing, but then you have people in Rotary and Kinsman who are very business minded and can do like the more economical side of things. And I don't know,
I realize that, but it's dropping those names that I have a problem with. Rotary, Kinsman, whatever it may be, because then it implies that those organizations have input into what's going on, whereas this is supposed to be a bylaw of council that sets up a structure that makes reasonable and fair decisions to attempt to service all the community. And then Rotary, whether Rotary can apply, Kinsman can apply, all the organizations can apply, and they should get equal treatment without, and the reality is, there may well be that, but George is a Kinsman, or this one's has been on festival for years, or whatever. That's fine, but it's not. They're not there because of the committee. They're chosen for their ability to do the task, and part of that is availability. Because sometimes these busy people in all these other organizations don't show up to meetings, and then it becomes a problem. And if it's not working, and this I think is where we've had trouble before with committee, is if it doesn't sit down and do the work, then we can never tweak it. It just doesn't happen. So I'd rather see a small group of dedicated local citizens chosen to, or at least consider it anyway.
I think the biggest problem with that, Brian, is the fact that these people that are in these organizations, they are the dedicated local citizens. They're the ones that are part of these service groups, and they are the ones that are volunteering that, to be part of something, you know what I mean? So asking them to take part in something else isn't the biggest stretch. I think the last time the committee was set up, and I could be wrong here, but it was more just citizens at large, not really connected to other organizations and that sort of thing. And I'm not saying that's the reason it failed, but it may be part of the reason of why it failed, in my opinion.
Margaret?
I think that the ones that Crystal mentioned, they're actually, I like them. And because they do a lot of fundraising, they're not going to take it lightly because they know how hard it is to fundraise, and they've worked. So we just have to make sure that, you have someone there that they have to promise to go to every meeting. I do that.
But then they can't apply to the fund either.
That's
the
me.
only thing that's...
They really have to have the commitment.
I absolutely concur. I think those are the people who are going to be,
not necessarily, you could still have.
the new phrase, right, for the last year or so has been skin in the game. They're the ones that have skin in the game. They're the ones that are putting on the events, that are taking all the risks. I think those are the ones that should be on it.
Like if chapters applied, like Sunny will just call conflict of interest.
So what are we saying around the table? We're gonna give
Just let me try.
Crystal the opportunity to see if she can put this together? Okay?
Do you want me to do letters up on your behalf?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
do
you
it.
could, that would be really awesome.
Can you email what
Just-
you just read
Yeah,
to me?
I guess I should have made it as like shared notes and then everybody
okay.
could have seen it, but
You'd want to have 2 town reps on there?
I don't,
I don't think you want to get too involved with.
yeah.
so.
And I mean,
Okay.
I was, if we want like
Yeah.
a 7th member, I was thinking like maybe Chamber of Commerce or I don't know.
Back in the day, when we first started talking about this, the whole idea behind this was that the community would be, it would be from the ground up. The community would make the decisions on where that money was going to be spent in their community. And so, let's not go fill it up with,
Good one.
you know,
Well, doesn't the community make that decision by way of the good projects, well-organized, well-planned requests they put forward to this group for funding? Isn't that where the community involvement really needs to come to be successful?
I hope that's where we're headed.
You can have a great committee, and if nobody has great plans to spend the money, they may be forced to say, well, no
But I
thanks,
think
but-
again, like you have these groups that are really, really community invested, and I think that they will be able to say, no, those parameters are too strict, we're not gonna be able to give out the money if we use that sort of, you know what I mean? Like they have a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
experience, so I think that that's what those groups are going to bring to the table, and they're going to, again, like they know what the community's wants and needs are, and they know how, I think they know how to best invest this money to get like some bang for our buck, so that we're also using it so that it A, makes the people that already live here happy, but it also does things to drive the tourism economy and to bring more people in, right? Like, I think we're gonna be able to find a balance almost.
We've
in-
hashed it out.
Yeah.
So, Andrew, you're okay letting Crystal go away? Chad?
Yeah.
Margaret?
I just added one little note, it says Chamber of Commerce, what about just a citizen at large? Too big?
My thing is that like, we kind of want to get this up and running so that it's up and running for like the upcoming budget, right? So that helps us with the budget. So I mean, like, we can do a citizen at large, but with this, we can just send out letters and we can say, we would like to meet on this day, please send a rep, bam, it's done. Where if we do like citizen at large, like, how do we pick just one citizen at large, right? If 50 people show up and want to be on the
Okay.
committee.
Let's move along here, folks. We can go round and round and around. So you're okay with go,
Yeah.
Margaret?
No,
Okay.
no,
And
yeah.
Brian?
As
Uh,
a citizen at large?
I understand the need and I like it, I still don't like the fact that we're tying it to the other, but the reality is the people that we wanna bring forward are gonna come from those various groups. Just don't make that the big deal. Ask them to nominate somebody or something, and what we end up with, we end up with.
We end up with.
The other thing is are we going to, when we put this out to them, to ask them to nominate someone, are we gonna give them a little bit of a layout of what the role is?
She's going to meet with them all.
Yeah,
Meet with all the groups.
I would
Okay,
like
but-
to
but I
bring,
mean,
I
like-
think we should
Like if
take the
Lee
terms
wants
of
to
reference for the
then-
Destination Marketing Committee and send it along with our letter. Here's the letter that we would like you to have a rep to sit on our Destination Marketing Committee. Here's what the Destination Marketing Committee is. Send that information to them, and who those groups choose as their representative is who they are. My agenda for the first meeting is that, like, okay, and we need to figure out criteria for giving out this money, and how are we going to give out this money? Are we going to do a grant? Are we going to do a proposal? And kind of like, okay, I believe the terms of reference for the committee say that they're going to meet 4 times a year, or every 3 months or something like that. So we know that, like, okay, so if we need to meet quarterly or whatever, then that's what how our granting should be. That's my thinking, and then move it from there. Like, so if they decide we're going to accept proposals, perfect. We don't really need to do anything to make a grant application. We need to put some terms of reference out there and make a call for proposals. If they want to do a grant, some of the work's already
So
done.
we're gonna see where it goes,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah, I didn't know. Borderlands.
Well,
So
That was-
what am I
Portuguese,
letting
not
the
often.
homecoming people know?
That we're
so we're
establishing
working
this
to get the committee up and running.
And we'll let them know once this committee is ready to roll, and you can go through them.
Water to taxes, 5.2.
Just basically, we're giving till October 31st deadline, and anybody that has outstanding taxes will be, or outstanding utilities will be added to taxes. Right now, we have $44,699.80 outstanding.
That's an incredible amount.
Resolution, right?
Yep, resolution.
Okay, resolution, it will be 5.3, relocation of the public library.
I met with some representatives of the library, and we kind of went through what it would take for a relocation. We talked about just various places. I haven't had a discussion with the museum yet, but we looked at even possibly sharing that building. Before we can go any further, we're gonna need someone that's got a structural background to let us know because of the weight bearing of the books. That creates another little issue. That's a pretty old building over there. And we were also looking at possibly some other buildings downtown as a secondary option.
Okay,
So we're gonna have to, like, I'll be bringing back, I just wanted to kind of update you. They also said that realistically, chances are by the time we get this going, September 27th is not a or September 2017 is probably not a realistic goal.
I think we cross our bridge once we get
Yeah, I
to
do
it.
too.
Like, I think
Yeah.
we need to keep it as an
Target.
urgent thing, and the target needs to remain the same, and if,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
June comes around and we're like, it's not happening for September, but maybe January, then we extend it.
So
right?
what
I mean,
I'm
we're not
mis-
just gonna close the door and turn off the lights and
And
say
say
too
it's done,
freaking
yeah.
bad, like,
So I want to get a quote from someone that can give me like anything about the structure and see what kind of weight bearing it would do. Also, there were 2 people that I contacted about alternate buildings downtown in the area to see if that might be a better route for us also.
I think it's, not what we're looking for in terms of looking for a different building. I think we're trying to amalgamate costs, right? Like that's, I don't know, it's tough because I see where you're coming from. A different building would probably be a better building and cost us less, but I think the main
In the long
goal
run.
is just trying to reduce those costs as far as we can. Yeah.
My other option was saying, do you want it for $1? Because I'll give you $1, and they laughed at me.
yeah, they don't
To
want
give them
that.
the building and say, here you go.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay,
Didn't invite Dave.
No,
okay, we'll receive that as information then.
so we're still going on it, it's
Yep.
just, we need to get some other things.
5.4, Councilor Zelinski's making too much money.
No, but I'm not. But, you know, we're heading into a budget process. We just talked about it tonight, saving 10% of the money that we've kind of earmarked that we're looking to save for next year. And, you know, we're asking all the departments to cut from their budgets. I think maybe as a council, we should be looking at cutting something from our budget. If we were to look at a 10% reduction in council wages, it equates to a little over $8,000 a year. So it's 2% of our goal. So that's where I sit, and I'm just throwing it out there.
Other people, don't be bashful.
No, I agree.
I know you do.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you
I
want
just think it's just
Councillor
a,
Gibbs' recommendation?
I'd love to hear what his is.
yeah,
I feel like I need a little more.
Well, here,
people
let's get Brian first, sorry.
Well, I play the devil's advocate on this because when you're in tough times and tough situations, people that have to make tough decisions, do you turn to them and say, here, you're taking a cut, and work hard at it? Because in reality, we're only required to go to meetings. How well we're prepared or not prepared and everything else is dependent upon that. So when you target that, I don't know that it sets a good example. As I said to somebody the other day, it's, oh, is this the first of, now it trickles down? Starts here at the top with council and goes down through the system? Is that what we're thinking? Because if we're going to do it as a budget process, then beyond the idea that I think all of us, even myself, am in some agreement to doing something. But I don't know that, other than doing it within the budget process, it's the place to do it. The other thing we need to remember is we already took one hit. Right off the get-go. Because there were, yeah, we deferred.
But that's,
Oh,
yeah.
And the problem that happens is the next time when people follow us, well, everything's been reduced and drops down. And, you know, it's like the gentleman here when we had our workshop said, like, you get situations in where people don't show up, because, hey, they only have to go to council meetings and do the minimum.
Councillor Gibb, Councillor Gibb.
Agrees with the recommendation, in addition, needs to have some serious look at the travel budgets.
Did council travel budget?
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah, his is so
Good.
much. He really needs to rake in his travel expenses.
I just wanted to, I don't disagree with Brian's point of view on wanting to make sure we kind of explore all options here, but I want to make sure that we're perfectly clear. At no point have we talked about reducing our staff's wages, because this is being videotaped, and at some point, somebody will think that what has just been suggested is that if we're going to take a cut, everybody else is taking a cut. That's not what's been suggested. On the table, your point is valid.
That's right.
That if, by us doing that, it may create the perception or expectation that somehow that's gonna be our expectation and everybody that is employed by the town, and that is not that is not, period, and that's not what Chad has proposed. So all we are talking about is our monthly per diem or whatever it's called, and that's it. And we're not looking at this as a lead-in to how we are setting an example then for the entire organization. My expectation is that I'm okay doing this 10% because we gotta find this money somewhere, and our table's a good place to start. For every other manager, I expect them to be looking at efficiencies in their operations, and I expect them to do that to their utmost, which means I expect them to not ask our staff to do more with less. I expect them to do more with the same, not more with the same, I expect them to be more efficient with the same resources in front of them so that we can maintain our levels of service. So I just want to make sure that we're entirely clear, and so that Trent understands, we are not talking about wage reductions for staff or unionized employees. This is just at this table.
It's definitely just at our table, and it's not trying to set an example by any means for.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Don't be so good. Of course it is. That's what you're doing. You're setting an example.
Well, no,
Right?
it's setting an example
Yeah.
of cutting costs.
Okay, don't-
And
yeah, don't suggest.
It's not setting an example
This
for
is-
reducing anybody else's
It's about
wages.
leadership at our own table, and it's
Yep.
about managing our own costs. And to that, and that's what Ellen has suggested, is that maybe we need to have a look at our travel budgets and see whether or not we're being incredibly efficient with those.
The one thing I have to, for myself, I'm not in it for the money. So, I'm sure that a lot of people can say that too.
Anybody came?
I think-
If anybody came here for the money, they,
Anybody who thought,
they made a sad
let's be clear about that.
mistake, yeah.
Anybody who thought that this was going to be a part-time job for them,
Yeah.
that's not what this is. This is a compensation for extraordinary time effort.
And I'm not trying to downplay anything that we're doing as a council, like, we're working hard, but it's just we're in tough times, and we're looking at saving hundreds of dollars here and there, and this is one way to save a few $1,000s. In terms of the bottom line, it's not a huge, it's a drop in the bucket for where we're going, but every drop helps.
Yes.
I just, I'll go on the record, I'm opposed to it. We work very hard for little tiny bits, little scrapings. And I think that if we continually devalue these positions, that we will get what we pay for.
City of Dauphin is councilors and the mayor, or councilors, that's the word.
I don't like that comment, Jim.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's
Yeah.
true.
No, I don't like that, like, when I put my name forward, I didn't even realize we got that much, I thought maybe we got $500 a month, so, like, this is my community involvement, this is like my donation of time, because you can't really put a dollar value on the time you spent. And anybody that walked in this position that thought, well, we're going to get big bucks for it, I don't know, like.
Nobody would
it's
ever
just-
think that. Well, they would find out in
But
a
I
hurry.
know
Yeah.
it, you can't put a dollar on a value on helping your community, that's my community donation. And that's what personally, that's what I went in for it,
We all have.
yeah.
2 years in a row now that we've hit the money around this table. Okay, just put it out there. All right, So I would say we move a resolution forward with a 10% reduction in pay. I guess that'd be
That'll
effective
be
January
amending the
2017.
bylaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we want to have a chat about travel, we can have a chat about travel too. I don't see where that is. I thought we hacked that and shredded that not long ago.
What might be a useful piece of information is if we're able to get our budgeted travel against our actual expenditures, because I'm feeling like while we don't budget a lot, I don't really feel like we probably expend the whole thing on an annual basis either, so that would be a really useful piece
Yep.
of information
Yeah.
to have.
So
Just the
budgeted
budget
versus
amount,
actual.
Yeah, against our actual expenditures, so if we can reduce the budget amount, because well, historically, we just never spend more than 50% of the travel budget, then now's the time to bring that down,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, I know Jody went through that entire exercise last year, so that may already have kind of
Yeah,
resolved
it
it.
shouldn't be hard to dig up. Okay. Crystal, take over. I gotta go.
Okay,
Okay.
of course on this one,
let's see what we
Trappers
have.
Festival request.
Jen, can you take this? I just gotta hit come here quick. You can read my stuff if you wish.
Thank you.
Self comments on it?
Yeah, there is actually.
Good
So now I
afternoon.
have to be Alan. We have received the request from Northern Manitoba Trappers Festival for 2017 for the same things they ask for every year. I don't know if you want me to read everything. Nothing's changed. Most of the work, or most of it, is in-kind service. In-kind services, there's $750 for the sponsor, the Family Fun Grant, and then we cover their insurance, which I believe is about
It's like a- no.
2009.
Oh yeah, it is, you're right,
Yeah,
2000 and,
78
or something.
Yeah, and that's an in and out thing, but, last year, council requested that all organizations that are requesting funding from the town to provide an audit, or to provide an audited financial statement to request. As per attached letter, their audit has not yet been completed and will be forwarded as soon as it's passed by their board of directions. Department head wait for the audited financial statements and then council consider the request after they have had a chance to prepare and review the 2017 preliminary budget.
Can I just say one thing?
Yep.
We have a grant that we get from the province every year for $25,000 that's dependent on what support we get from the municipality. So we need that letter that says that we will get the same support or some sort of support from the municipality before we can apply for that grant, which is due November 1st.
That's gonna create issues, because I think
Is your
we talked about
resolution
waiting
won't-
for budget review, and then we also talked about,
Well, we don't have to meet.
See if we-
And we don't have another meeting until November 14th.
Okay.
I don't think the letter went through council last year when it came, the support letter, I think it just came.
we did it earlier, I think, last
Yeah.
year. We were much earlier.
No, it came in like January last year. I know because I was like, you guys didn't
can't
send the
remember.
freaking letter to the town yet.
Right.
Yeah, it was like right before Trappers that you
Yeah.
passed it.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
But I had sent an email to Jen saying, like, we need a support letter, like, before that, right? So,
Well, what does the letter have to say, that the town will
It pretty-
support?
Provides that
Yeah.
in kind in this amount.
yeah.
Is this already a budgeted item?
We budget for it every year.
And you just pass the interim budget.
I mean, I don't think it, I mean, the reality is, we're not gonna not provide the services that are needed here for Trappers Festival. There's too much spin-off economy out of it, there are too many things that go on. I mean, whether or not we choose to engage in the services directly the same as we always have, if there's a need for modification in terms of how those things get delivered or whatever, it can be kind of dealt with as we move through the budget process. But in terms of support, we're not gonna not provide that level of support. Does that mean that this loader on this day and we spent 12 hours for last year doing this is gonna be exactly the same? No. But, you know, I mean, I think that sending a letter of support to that end isn't gonna be misrepresenting what it is we're actually gonna do. You know what I mean?
So whatever you guys wanna do.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just support
Sending like the
it.
letter of support saying
Yeah,
that,
sure.
yeah.
Do you happen to know when the audit's?
No, like our treasurer right now has some personal family stuff that she's
Sure.
dealing with. She's with her husband in Winnipeg, so some of the stuff has been delayed because she is like our like she's the finance person, so, usually it's done around this time actually, is usually when we're passing our audited financial statements, but probably by the end of
What's
the
your,
year.
your rent, March 31st?
Yeah,
What would happen if we said subject approval, subject to submission, which is pretty much saying we approve it?
Yeah, I
subject to
mean, we can,
submission.
I mean, we have said before that we need their audited financial statement, so we can send one that says.
Support subject to
Supports,
receiving the
yeah,
audited financial.
supports, But it's conditional upon receiving the audited financial statements prior to the festival, or something, you know, or whatever, prior to,
Just, yeah.
whatever, pick a date, whenever she thinks she can, if
Well-
she thinks she can have it done by January 1st, then say prior to January 15th, or, you know, whatever's, we can look for some feedback from them on what's a realistic timeframe.
Yeah, give them the letter, whatever.
Okay.
it is.
They're
Okay,
gonna-
but I would caution giving a specific date with regard to the audited statement, because if for whatever reason, something happens, a disaster happens, and they can't get it, then that negates our decision to, if it can't be done by February 15th for whatever reason, and sometimes those things happen, I wouldn't want to have us left in a position where we've said no.
Yeah.
But I think it's follow through, get it to us, and,
So you're suggesting just making a qualified statement that we support it?
we support it, and, you know, remind them that
Yeah.
they're required to send us an audit
Statements As soon as they're,
as soon as it's available.
yeah,
Yeah, sure.
fixed.
And then next year, we can tighten it up a little bit, or whatever, which,
This will be the first time we've ever received.
I don't know, are you comfortable with that, Randy?
No, you got them.
No, really,
Did we?
no.
Oh, yes, you did.
The reality is.
I
you're
sent
gonna
them,
be
I
able
know
to
you
produce
did.
your audited financial
Oh, I
statement.
believe you.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't be Trappers Festival and not produce it, they always produce the audited
Yeah.
financial statement, I don't think it really presents a, I mean, I don't think it really presents.
As long as we're following the same rules and regulations for everything else with it, that we get it prior to, and I'm sure that gives them a couple months. I don't foresee that being a problem. I wouldn't put a date on it,
Yeah.
but I don't disagree with the prior to the festival.
Sure.
Yeah, just say prior to the festival.
Yeah, it could be the day before, as long as you get them.
Or not.
You're still complying. You made the rules, there's still
Yeah,
compliance.
our last meeting is the day before festival starts,
Which
so.
could very well be, right? But
It
at least they're
hasn't,
still
it
in
hasn't
compliance.
happened, but, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so I have a real problem with, like, I just want to ensure we have that consistency of our expectation of everyone else.
No, exactly, like we're becoming more and more stringent on making sure we've got
So
those.
are we still doing a
A
resolution?
resolution for the support.
Okay.
And it'll be basically on the condition of receiving the audited financial statement prior to the 2017 festival.
What do you count your new thoughts?
He said send it to Destination Marketing Fund.
That's what I was going to, can this not,
We
when this gets
could.
up, can that not go to destination
The problem
marketing?
being is, right, like, and we could send a letter saying we would appreciate you trying through that, however, if not, we could do this.
'Cause with-
But you're saying they need that
Yeah,
funding
we
through the
need,
province is the
like, we need the
difference.
support letter, like, to apply for a grant from the province, and if we don't have, like, pretty much the province is like, if you don't have municipal support, that shows us that it's not really like a pinnacle event in your community, so we're not gonna support it, right? So,
Before the beginning of the 2017 festival, sorry.
before,
Prior to the-
prior to the
okay, yeah.
2017 festival, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think we pass the resolution, but I think
Yep.
we pass along also the, I mean, it doesn't have to be a letter, but Crystal, you sit on the board, pass along the idea that they, if the committee can be up and running by that point in time, they should be also
Yep.
looking to relieve some of the financial obligation of the town through the destination marketing fund if they can.
For sure. Oh, sorry, I'm running the meeting.
I was waiting for red.
I know, I'm 5.6 payroll and accounts.
Will require a resolution for pay period 21 in the amount of 108,108.14 for general checks in the amount of 738,386.24, and also for electronic funds transfer in the amount of 46,265.29 for a total disbursement of 892,759.67.
Okay.
what was all the canceled numbers, checks?
It was an error.
There, yeah.
Just seemed to be-
There's quite a few of them, yes.
Yeah, because they seem to come back again, but.
It was a wrong run.
Okay.
Any other questions or? No? Can I have someone move us into camera, please?
Be resolved that we now move in camera to discuss matters of importance with Deputy Mayor, Chair, Crystal Marsh.
Good job.
Let's make that up.
Yep. Jen will fix it for you.
I'll make it sound pretty.
Sure.
I should have pulled it up.